stats, pop jabs, reach, who's king? Southpaw, switch, lead, hook, chin, ping. Scorecards, rematch, who got rubbed fast, all on the B&D Podcast. It's the B&D Podcast. Big clash, rounds, belts, big gas, lock it. The B&D Podcast. It's the B&D Podcast. Big clash, rounds, belts, big gas, lock it. The B&D Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the B&D Podcast with your hosts, Base the Kid and Danny Glover. How is everyone doing? We're going to have to keep the formalities and everything very short. It's a very short episode tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Wasn't a lot happened over the weekend, but there has actually been some things outside of the actual boxing news that we will be discussing. We pushed the show back due to obviously the very important football stuff that's going on at the moment. I'm sure a lot of you have that little cross-pollination when it comes to the sports. And I guess first and foremost, congratulations to Arsenal for winning the Premier League as a Man City drew with Bournemouth today. First time in 20-something years. So yeah, congrats to them. Danny, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. Well done, Arsenal. As you know, I'm not really a man who follows football too tough. But yeah, well done to Arsenal. I'm glad to see that my guy Eze has just left Crystal Palace and then won a trophy once again, moving straight to another club after he just won 2 the season before. And it looks like hopefully Crystal Palace get their 3rd trophy in a 12-month period if they, providing they do the business on the 27th at the end of this month. So in Germany.
All right. Okay. So first things first, we are going to speak ever so briefly about what took place this weekend, namely Dave Allen and Filip Hrgović and Keyshawn Davis and Nahir Albright, all undercards as far as I'm concerned, are null and void at this point, especially in that Queensbury card. I haven't seen it, nor do I care to. I'm also not really caring about Paddy Donovan and Kevin Chikadzean, but obviously he got a victory, so he should be facing the winner of Paro v Crocker. Do you want to have anything to say about that before we get started?
Well done to Paddy Donovan. The first knockdown was more of like a guiding cuff. The second knockdown was good shot, good timing. I know some people.
I think you got them the other way around.
No, the first one. There was like
the first one was the proper knockdown. The second one was the guiding cuff, and the 8th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I got it the wrong way round. But and then people talking about Paddy Donovan's dropped Chikadzean twice and Boots Ennis in 24 rounds couldn't do it. I'm just like, people, the way Chikadzean fought Boots was totally different, especially if you talk about the first fight where he was on his bike so much. So styles make fights, and yeah, don't look too much into it. That doesn't mean anything too much, in my opinion.
Okay, cool. Right, yes. No real need for a technical breakdown of Allen and Hrgović, but did it go the way you planned? Did it go better than you thought, worse than you thought? What was your thoughts on that?
Well, it depends what way you want to look at it. It could be worse or better. I just thought it was going to be a standard. Filip Hrgović wide on points. I predicted it last week on the show. I just thought Hrgović is a better boxer than Makhmudov, has a better chin than Makhmudov, might not punch as hard, but everything else is definitely leaps and bounds about Makhmudov. So I just thought 1 + 1 makes 2 is going to be even wider points victory because Dave Allen does have a tough chin and a tough head. But Filip Hrgović just moved to him from the off, walked out, shipped a hook over the top, walked into it. From that, it didn't budge, and from then he just started wailing in on him and pounding in on him, and Dave couldn't get out of the way. Then he started throwing shots, couldn't land. Hrgović is just using total distance control and then just pounding on him and piling in on him on the ropes until Jamie Moore in the 3rd round had seen enough and threw in the towel. But yeah, total domination. I saw your video about the next fight and why you're not happy about the quick turnaround. But what I'm hoping for is that I don't think he went too... It seemed like he was quite dismissive of Dave Allen, so I think that hopefully he didn't put too much into this camp, That way, he's not like fully burned out. So when he does go back into camp after, say, 3 weeks to a month, it's not too much of a quick turnaround. And then he's going to train properly for the Moses Itoma fight. I don't think it's going to be like the thing where Sergei Kovalev fought Anthony Arden and they had the quick turnaround with Canelo and he was totally burnt out and he went through a big war. You know, Hergovich didn't even, he only took one punch of significance from what I saw, and he just kind of beat up Dave Allen easily. So I think he'll be more than ready, and it will be a real acid test this for Moses Thomas. So I look forward to it.
Okay, well, if it does get to that, then cool. We will we'll cross that bridge. In terms of the actual fight, yeah, I thought it would go the distance purely because sometimes Hergovich can get a bit lazy, and obviously Allen's got a very brick head. And as we saw, it's not like he didn't go down, he didn't wobble, stumble, anything like that. It's just he took a bit more of a beating than Jamie Moore was willing to accept, and yeah, it ended up being a he decided to throw in the just to save grace. What I'm frustrated about and more disappointed about is the fact that the fight itself was always viewed as a mismatch, and the whole Dave versus Goliath thing, yeah, clever marketing, but no one in their right mind, except for Don Charles, for some reason, who's supposed to have a good knowledge of boxing, believed that Dave Allen could win the fight. And that's, I don't want to disrespect or discredit Don because he is a legend, but I don't know what in his mind told him to say that on big platforms like Talksport, telling people look me in my eyes with chest, Dave Allen's going to knock him out. Like, Dave is not that guy. And at this point in time, I'm quite sick and tired of Dave Allen scamming a living with the public. He's quite openly said, "Oh, one moment, I just want to do like a little countryside or a countryside tour. You know, just go from little city to city, having 6 and 8 rounders or 4 and 6 rounders, whatever it is. Cool, let the guy do that. Why is he still being put in the ring with people that are way too good for him just because he's got a tough head? Like, at the end of the day, it's damaging to him. It's damaging to the sport. It's something, obviously his kids ain't gonna necessarily want him to see that, but it's constantly, it's the same thing. Oh, well, this is the time I've trained for this one. I never used to train, but I trained for this one. Never trained so hard in my life. Well, now you trained hard and get taken out in the quickest amount of time that you ever have. Like, it's clearly not in you. Like, you're not even realistically, prior to the second Johnny Fisher fight, sorry, he never won any version of any title, regional or even like sanctioning body. So for that, now people are talking about, oh, but maybe we'll put him in the Richard Riakporhe. No, he ain't even proved that technically that he's English level yet, because they, like, Johnny Fisher wasn't the English champion; he was a Southern area. So that's where your level is. That's where you need to be fighting. All of these other fights, the Hergoviches, the Makhmudovs, the Dillian Whites of yesteryear, the Luis Ortiz, the Tony Yokers, all them fights, they need to stop. It's ridiculous. It's a mockery. It makes a mockery of the sport. And more so than that, it actually is it takes the piss out of the fans. Eddie Hearn should have never sanctioned that. Although the thing is, you can't even really say Eddie because it wasn't his show. It was a Queensbury show. Queensbury should have known better than to put that crap on. Now, luckily for us, that's not quote unquote ultimate tier or pay-per-view, but ultimately I've still got a DAZN subscription. I pay my subscription yearly. I want to see competitive matchups. Dave Allen against Hergovich was never competitive. The most it was going to be a one-sided beatdown for 10 rounds, or at least there was never going to be any competition around it. Again, I said that Hergovich is going to win the fight clearly. I just thought it'd be on points because I didn't actually think his team would look after him the way they did. That's the honest truth. But then when you look at that and you say, well, at the end of the day, now you've got yeah, you've got people that paid big money, didn't even get a competitive main event. And from everything that I've heard, the undercard was dog shit. I didn't see it, so I can't comment, and nor do I want to go back and watch it. But my point being, it was just a substandard. That's a substandard product, and they need to do better. They can't. Yeah, that just can't be allowed to happen again. That's about as much as I want to say on it right now. Don't
Yeah,
know how you feel, but it's if and even if you're gonna say that's the warm up to the Atalma thing, again, I've got an issue with that, but my issue with that is separate. So
yeah. But no, I understand your frustration. It was in a stadium. What was a bit, I think, disrespectful is that Dave Allen got more mic time than Philip Hergovich, who was the winner. He was blabbing on about, I love you all, I love my family, I love my dad, I love my mum, I love my missus sometimes. Uh, I'm just, he's just going on and just waffling. He's sounding punchy, so he's slurring his words. Eddie Hearn, there's obviously a bit of nepotism going on in where he kind of favors him because he keeps giving him these big paydays and says, yeah, his family's and his life's secured forever. He's got all these houses and properties up north, and he's just helping him out and putting him on, really, knowing full well he ain't really up to much. So he's got well looked after more than a lot of other fighters. And yeah, probably I think a bit of nepotism at play there, but it is where it is. But yeah, it's time to just knock this Dave Allen show on the head. And also, what I don't like as well is the fans. He's gone on record saying that he felt like a coward because he quit against Fraser Clark when he got basically stopped in that, and a few other fights as well where he said that he didn't really put effort and he kind of jacked it in. Yet he's never been labelled a quitter, etc. Yet we get Daniel Dubois, he gets labelled it straight out of the bat. So it's like one rule for one and another rule for another. But so bit unfair there, but yeah, man, it was so one sided. It wasn't a good. That wasn't even pay per view, like not pay per view. Sorry, it wasn't even subscription worthy, in my opinion. It was that one sided, and the undercard weren't really saying much. Yeah, it just weren't really a good show, was it?
okay, so what's your thoughts on quickly Hergovich and the potential fight with Atalma in August? Because again, I'll give my point about that afterwards.
Yeah, no, I think he's a really good matchup. As I said, I think he was quite dismissive of Dave Allen. I don't think he put his all and went hell for leather. Yes, he weighed normally the weight he normally weighs, but I don't think he was going hammer and tong. So I don't think he's burnt himself out where he's going to need all this big long recuperation to go into another camp for Moses Talma. I think he just did a little prep camp and thought, I'm just going to punch this punk up, and then as he did, and then he's going to go into a real camp for Moses Talma. And Hergovich has got the 2-inch height advantage over Moses, got a 3 or 4-inch reach advantage over Moses, has the better amateur pedigree, Olympic bronze medalist, got the better wins and resume so far, and I think is a real test for Moses, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Well, again, my issue is that it looks like they're trying to get him half baked because again, there was no everything was about, well, you gotta hope he comes through this with no injuries, no whatever. Now luckily, yeah, he didn't seem to hurt himself in any of the punches, but somehow he managed to get a nick over the eye. Not a big one, luckily, but there's still some kind of open tissue there, and they need to check that, see what that's like. But then depending on how you look at the training camp, right? I don't know how long of a training camp you need, but apparently he had quite a long training camp for this one. So you're gonna need 2 or 3 weeks rest, maybe I would say, and then you're going back into another camp. So now you gotta go back to Big Bear, California, to that high altitude, which is gonna take you about a week, 2 weeks to kind of adjust to fully coming back here. Then you're gonna have to come back 2 weeks early for that. To me, you don't really get more than say like 8 weeks of any decent amount of work that he can do. Whereas, Moses has been he's obviously been out of competition since the 24th of March. Like, he's already had a good month and a half that even if he's ticking over, but he's been resting, he's been recuperating, he ain't been doing much. Whereas this guy, obviously, he's been in his camp, he's going to have had to spar all that stuff. And now, like, you're literally trying to bring him back less than it's about 11 weeks. Maybe it's between 11 to 13 weeks. I can't quite work it out of the top of my head right now, but I think it's about 11.
What's the date we're looking for in August?
It's the 8th of March. I mean, the 8th of August, sorry. Okay. So you've got 2 weeks.
The day after my
2
birthday.
weeks of May, 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks of June, 4.5 weeks of July, plus rest and recuperation. Then obviously you've got to make sure you're back here by the 8th, by the first week of August, because that's going to be the obviously that's going to be the acclimatization. It just seems to me that's about 9. I think it's about 9 weeks if you factor in any decent amount of sort of rest time to then go straight back into camp. It just feels like they're trying to get him half cooked, in my opinion. Whereas Moses could they could have found someone else for him ages ago if they already knew what dates they was looking at. They should have already had an opponent lined up and just have Hrgović maybe for like the next fight down the line. Speaking of which, actually, they were saying, Frank said that that Moses Atauma will fight for a world title by the end of the year. That's what he said. I'm putting it out here now, and I'm putting my marker down. I think I even said it somewhere else previously, but the 19th of May, 2026, that world title fight is going to be against Murat Gassiev for that WBA regular world title. That's what it's going to be to keep him in line for them when Usyk eventually decides to vacate the full title. So then he'll just get elevated to full champion, and then obviously he has to unify to become super champion after that. That's where I'm going with it. That's the play that I see them making. I heard enough from Al Siesta previously. I've heard enough of, especially the way they was trying to do the soft launch with Dave Morrell and how he's a 2-time 2-weight world champion. That to me is telling me everything I need to know, especially when you had Spencer on Monday Night Smoke last week talking about how Daniel Dubois is a 3-time world champion because he had that regular belt. So that's I'm telling you now, I'm calling the play from now. So anyone watching, bookmark it. If it happens, you guys just know where you heard it first, and you know what games they're trying to run.
Yeah, I'm bookmarking this now. So 16 minutes 45 seconds. So yes, thank you very much. What also? So it's 12 weeks. I because it's the day after my birthday. So yeah, 12 weeks from his fight just on the weekend to the 8th of August. And yeah, I can see that being the case because we know he's not. I don't think he's going to put him in. Well, he's not going to put him in with Daniel Dubois at the end of the year because that's where Fabio Wardley's getting his rematch. So the only other option is going to be the Gassiev because he's not going to sling him in with Usyk. So that's the only viable option, it seems like. So yeah, that's it. I think you've got another Beisha Damas hit right there.
All right. So okay, moving on from that, because again, that was a whole waste of time. Keyshawn Davis, Nahir Albright. I feel like it was probably even more conclusive than the first fight was, but Keyshawn is still out here doing Keyshawn things. I'm gonna call it now. I've got Adrian Broner vibes coming from Keyshawn. Not maybe to that same level, but I can see his career being a case of wasted potential. Especially man's in the ring after the fight saying, "Oh yeah, like look, I like to fight, but guys, I just can't make weight, or I hate making weight, or whatever he's talking." All right, so you're gonna say you're gonna go up because you hate making weight. All right, cool. Go to 147. I don't actually mind that, but you never had no problems making weight before when you was at 135. Why is it all of a sudden now? Oh, I hate making weight when you actually got extra weight to play with. Is it just because you've maybe got a taste of the one nice bag and you think, oh yeah, or because you thought you had a big following in your home city? that has now half abandoned you because you basically, ripped away and pissed away their money last year. Like, again, I'm so done. I'm done with him. I don't even think ever, and since he's left Bomac, I ain't gonna lie. I think he looks worse. I don't see what I used to see in him at all. And that's not to say, oh, like, because Bomac's the greatest, but him wanting to have his own team and be local and all of that stuff and not have to work. Remember, he wasn't missing weight when he was with Bomac. All of a sudden, you start getting your own team, you start running your own ship, and now you're coming in 4 pounds over, point two grams over, or whatever it was, all of that stuff, having to go 3 times to make weight, now making excuses for why you can't make weight, and I'm laughing it off and just like taking the piss out of your hometown. Like, it's disrespectful. And I don't even, if it was just, if his boxing was improving, I'd say, you know what, cool. I don't have to like him as an individual. I feel like his, the skills is there and he can still be something. I don't see, I don't see it happening. I feel like, again, wasted potential. He might be fortunate and get another world title, but outside of that, he's not going to be what I expected him to be. So again, I'm done. I was off that train from last year, but like he ain't done nothing to make me feel like I need to get a ticket again.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, he lost me as a supporter quite a while ago with his behaviour. I just thought I don't really like his persona and attitude. Um, I'm still yet to find out what it was in that water the day before the weigh-in where he said, getting the last bit of weight off that, whatever that caption was, that the water. I want to know what's in that water because that looks very strange. Yeah, he missed weight the first time. He made the weight in the end, but yeah, the fight wasn't. Yeah, it was more. He won more conclusively, but to me, the fight was quite boring. The most exciting part was when he body slammed Albright and then got a couple of points taken off of that. Um, yeah, he just seems like someone with a bad attitude, and I just want him to. I'm one of these people. I just want to see him get beat now. I don't know. I don't even think he'll beat Adrian Broner like because Adrian Broner had a really serious wave. Like there was a point where everyone was saying he was the second coming. No one. I don't hear people think that Keyshawn's going to be the second coming of Bud or someone else. He's just yeah, he's a good fighter. They say, but he's never a second. Because I don't even think he's going to get to that Broner status because Broner, yeah, it was a short run, but it was one hell of a ride. And Keyshawn also doesn't have that crossover appeal where you think, oh, this guy's wavy or he's funny or he's charismatic and engaging. Adrian Broner, for all his faults, even now in his downtrodden state right now, he's still garnering attention and people wanting to see him, recover and get back on his feet. You see even Mike Epps telling AB put the drink down, and people still are rooting for him. I don't see people rooting for Keyshawn. He's lost his own, as you said, he's lost half of his own hometown, and that's not a big place where they've got a lot of choice to choose from, fighter wise or sporting wise. So for you to lose that base, you're down bad. You top rank and all that. You messed up that. So yeah, man, you're just doing what you're doing. But I'm not losing any sleep or running home ever to come and watch your fights. I'll catch it on the highlights, or if it's a good timing for me and I'm up, I've just finished a door shift and you're about to come on like it was on the weekend, then yeah, I watched it. But it was just a bit, for me, the fight was a bit boring anyway. Albright didn't perform the way I wanted him to perform. So overall, it was just, as they say, a meaty performance.
All right. Well, now we've got all of that drivel out of the way for a very, very uneventful weekend of boxing in the ring. Let's talk about a very eventful weekend of boxing outside the ring, which didn't even take place at a boxing event. Happened to be at the biggest event of the weekend, which was an MMA event on Netflix featuring Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. While no one's going to be breaking down all of those fights because they all lasted a round or less. But there was hands thrown at our after party. And funny enough, right, I actually, well, as you was talking about the Hergovich thing, there was I actually just saw a, what's it called? There was a big capture, a big X post from Clarissa Shields.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get this right. It's okay. So I was just reading it. So it says, I've dedicated my life to the sport of boxing. Through the grace of God, I have been blessed. My talent has allowed me to undeniably take women's boxing to a new level that doesn't stop at the ring. I mean, that's a lie right there, but cool. What circulated online does not tell the full story. Until now, I do not condone violence. Okay, that doesn't make sense. I never have. But I am also not someone who will stand in silence while continuously being verbally attacked, threatened, discriminated against, or assassinate my character. Nor will I allow the reality of disrespect turn into a narrative or talking point about my colorism or envy. There is a documented history of attacks and threats by this person that led to this moment, and that history will speak for itself. There is a difference between aggression and protection. I stand on integrity. I stand on what I've built. I'm a champion. I carry that everywhere I go, not just in title, but in how I move, what I protect, and what I refuse to accept. I've fought too hard and come too far to let anyone rewrite my story or define my character. Any further false allegations or defamation of character will be handled accordingly by my legal team. Right, okay. So let's address let me address this part bit by bit, right? Because there is documented history of attacks, but not by that person. What circulated online does not tell the full story. Until now, I do not condone violence. I never have. So is this why your brother sucker punched a 60-plus-year-old man in the back of his head when you was having the fight against, was it Habazin, Ivana Habazin, when they punched James Ali Bashir in the back of the head because he disrespected your stud, your Moss sister. Was I mean you didn't condone that, but you had them people around you. You don't condone violence, but you had a big ruckus with old Franchon Cruz Dezern at a weigh-in, like pushing and shoving for no reason. She didn't put hands on you. I didn't remember her touching you, but yet you managed to push her and cause a big commotion. But you don't condone, you don't condone violence, while being verbally attacked, threatened, and discriminated against, or assassinate your character. All right. So what's the discrimination? Or we're talking about talking point about colorism or envy. Weren't you the one on a live talking about how you can't stand light skinned bees because they all think they're too nice. They're always trying to put down the black girls. Wasn't you the one that initiated that attack? Aren't you the same person that talks about how you call whoop men in the boxing ring? Or that you can give physical violence to them. You can promote that violence, but all of a sudden you're saying someone else saying that they can whoop you. Oh, that's a threat to your character. Is this where we're going? And now you will talk about stuff being handled by your legal team. Then you go and put up footage people have already seen, which doesn't actually show what really occurred because the both of you are going back and forth. And from what I've heard, she decided to slap, quote unquote, Alicia Baumgardner as she was turning around and she had her back turned to her. So you sucker slapped her.
I don't know about that, but
That's
what
what I
happened?
heard.
Well, what I saw is them arguing. Alicia said, "I'll beat your ass right now," and then she's like, "What? What?" And then the clap went in. Alicia Baumgartner's come out with a statement. When your purpose is to elevate, there will always be people who attempt to pull you down to the level from which they operate. The situation that occurred on Saturday was unprovoked, wow, and entirely consistent with the individual involved. While attending Most Valuable Promotions inaugural MMA event as a guest, I was physically assaulted without provocation This behavior follows a continued pattern from someone who has publicly celebrated other fighters' brain injuries, initiated one sided altercations at press conferences, and consistently displayed hostility towards other women. That conduct is unacceptable and should not be tolerated in any professional sport. This behavior reflects a repeated pattern of hostility, chaos, and attention seeking conduct that continues to embarrass women's sports. This situation has been and will continue to be handled legally and professionally. My focus remains far beyond individuals who lack discipline, professionalism, and self control. Inside or outside the ring, I have spent my career representing myself, my family, and the sport of boxing with class, integrity, respect, and I will continue to do so. I want to congratulate Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix on an event that continues to raise the ceiling for women's combat sports, and I look forward to continuing to be a positive force in the evolution of the sport. Now, Alicia, what I've seen online. So I know what Carissa's talking about. Yes, she may have been initially the first one out of the two to talk about colorism, but I cannot then sit and act like we have not seen continuous uh, posts, videos made about, oh, Clarissa's just hating on Alicia because she's pretty. Oh, this is the typical dark skinned woman who's just hating on a light skinned girl. Oh, because she's hot. Da, 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 da. Oh, that dog face, that bulldog face, that animal, that this these little what do you call it? These little undertones and what it is, a lot of men simping, and what it is, they've got a lot of self-hate. Because what I don't like is that if a dark-skinned woman ever has an argument with a light-skinned woman, it's always the dark-skinned woman's fault. And oh, she's hating on her. She must be jealous because she's prettier than her. It's doing that whole favoritism thing. But then if it's a light-skinned man arguing with a dark-skinned brother, then the dark-skinned brother's just on it, and the light-skinned brother's soft. So which one is? Why does it revert? Why does it change depending on the gender? Also, what I don't appreciate is that Alicia Baumgartner is moving like a snitch, talking about she's pressing charges because she got clapped in the face after she said to Clarissa Shields, I'll beat your ass right now. You've now made a threat, so Clarissa can say, I felt threatened and I've done a preemptive strike. You're now saying you're looking to press charges, getting her banned from events. You're meant to be from the streets, Alicia. You're meant to be a bad bee. You're talking all about her and her man. Oh, why are you getting with a married man? It don't matter what's going on with him and his ex. When we all know that Papoose was riding for Remy Martin when she was inside, locked up in jail. Then when she's come out, she's gone and cheated on him with her next brother. So he's available. He's the wounded lion. So why are you now you're talking about Carissa's relationship? You're talking about, oh, you're the one who started it, saying, oh, I'll move up and I fight her. I'm about competition. I'll fight her. So you started this when Carissa was on the Sisterhood and you lot were all friends, especially after that Savannah Marshall and Michaela Mayer show. And let's talk about professionalism and acts of aggression. Weren't you ready to get handsy with Michaela Mayer doing the presser, especially at that weigh-in when the security had to hold you back from wanting to peter up? Then when the strong handshake, totally effing and jeffing, your mouth was very expletive, Alicia. Like, listen, I'm not gonna listen. You're fire, but I'm not gonna let your beauty get in the way of me being objective in this situation. You've been very disrespectful to Clarissa. You've been very aggressive towards other women in press conferences and build-ups. You're always in trash talking matches with other fighters. So let's not act like you've always been respectful and integrity. The only time you was doing the whole respectfulness is when you're fighting Bo Michin, doing the whole bowing. So you're doing the whole Blasian thing and trying to do all that. But other than that, you've been quite hostile. And then you're talking about, because I remember before they even saw each other, Carissa said, when I see you, it's on site. Then you're talking about, you ain't gonna do nothing. So it was all that back and forth. Then you're saying you're gonna beat her up right there. You said, I'll beat your ass right now. So you now wanted to fight right there and then. I'm seeing a guy talking about what. Then there's a little punk recording going, world star, let him fight. So then you've got clapped. Listen, Caleb Plant clapped Jamel Charlo. He weren't getting banned from events. He weren't getting charges pressed on him. Caleb Plant tried it on Canelo, got clapped. no charges pressed. It is what it is. These things happen. We've seen fights at press conferences. It's just a little slap, and it weren't even a big slap like that. It was just a little one. And you're there now talking about you're pressing charges. You're meant to be from Ohio and the D, and you're talking about you want to go. Come on, man. You're a signed up fighter. You're not. This isn't. You're not a civilian. Don't start doing the whole damsel in distress. I'm a victim. You like to throw. It seems like you're one of them women who like to throw rocks and then hide your hands. So Alicia, I'm not. Very disappointed in you. You know what we doing here? You're talking about you're going to authorities, getting people banned from shows. Nah, nah, nah. I'm with Carissa on this one. Alicia, you're going down bad. You're going down bad, baby. Sorry.
I didn't really hear a lot of what you said there. There was a lot of drivel, a lot of rambling. Look, here's what I'm gonna say, right? You talked, you right. The one thing I did hear you speak about, you said, "Oh, Alicia, she's in slanging matches, or she's disrespectful with a lot of people, like when she's in the fight or whatever." Guess what? Every time she's quote unquote disrespectful, she's got a fight signed with somebody. There ain't no fight signed here. Secondly, she's never put her hands on anybody in a press conference or in a weigh-in or anything like that. Matter of fact, when it was her and Michaela Mayer's the one that actually went to try and kick her when they was going chest to chest with each other, and they got separated by the security. Alicia didn't actually attack her. Yeah, she gave her some bees and whatnot, and I'm gonna dog walk that ass and all that kind of stuff. Cool. That's trash talk. That's trash talk. Like when the fight is signed, there was no fight signed here. You can clearly see the person who came up, who wanted quote unquote problems, was Clarissa Shields. In this moment, she likes to say that there was a load of like behaviors or stuff that led up to this, and the whole Alicia talking about the papoose thing. Well, guess what? That happened well over a year ago. But yet that's the one thing that you're gonna now be using to say, oh, well, that's why I've now got issues. Even though when the girl tried to call you out for a fight, you didn't want to do it because you wanted to be on some A side. I'm not traveling down there for you. Come up to 154, even though you said you go 147 for Cyborg. All of that stuff. You get up in a person's face. If anything, looking at all of these videos, who's got whose hand in whose face? It's not Alicia, it's Clarissa talking about my man rare. Bear in mind your man that's still technically married to another woman. And but that's the person that you're going out gallivanting, doing a madness for, crashing out online. You're the same person who was online talking smack to 50 Cent. Then all of a sudden, when 50 go tell you about Hot Rod Maserati or whatever his name was, oh, well, now I'm going to get my legal team involved. Same thing she's talking about here. Defame my character, XYZ, XYZ. No, your character is your character. You're the same person that when you got dropped by what's his name, the sparring partner, after talking about how you beat up men, rare, went out to the car to go get a blade because apparently, oh, we took the padding out of his gloves, so you were just embarrassed you got dropped. There's everything about Clarissa Shields is a victim. Now, even if you want to say Alicia Baumgardner is acting victim here, she antagonized, like she threw the stone, tried to hide her hands, and then tried to be cool. Maybe she did, but guess what? She didn't touch nobody. She ran her mouth, which she was entitled to do in a situation where you've approached her. She hasn't come up to you. You've gone up to her, causing drama in a place that you're not even really supposed to be. Let's be honest, because you didn't want to sign to MVP. You've constantly badmouthed Jake Paul, Nikisa, Amanda Serrano, and all the other women over there. You obviously you wanted to do the work with Shadesha Green, but unfortunately she got knocked out. And then even after she got knocked out, and she's down there passed out on the floor, getting stretchered out, going to hospital, talking about whatever, you're still online going wild, talking crazy because you got no class and got no decency. All of that, you go up to someone in public, they say, yeah, I'll beat you, but I was actually listening to the audio. It's very hard to hear, but she was saying, even right now I'd whoop that ass. She wasn't talking about literally like then and there. She was talking about in the ring. Because that's what she's always said to Clarissa. In the ring, I'll beat you because skills pay the bills. And then Clarissa was like, you know you ain't gonna whoop my ass. And she goes, no, you're easy. Like, you're easy. She's talking about in the ring. She's not talking about literally, I'm about to throw hands with you right now. Because she's not gonna do that, mess up her bag in a place that she's actually been invited to come to. Now, Clarissa's there off of whoever's merit. I don't know why she turned up there. It's not her event.
Oh, she
It's
was
also,
invited.
that's like the second or third time she's ended up at an MVP event, even though she don't mess with MVP. She don't like Jake Paul. She don't like Nikita. Don't like Amanda. You're always at the events. They're trying to clout chase her for other people. And now you go as soon as, and again, you've now gone, you and her are talking whatever you've said this time. And as she's turned is when you've gone to go and clap her. Now, I don't know where the slap hit because they got that stupid video, which doesn't have the full angle. You don't see where it hit or whatever, but you know something connected because you hear the sound and then you turn around like, "Raw, what go on there?" Even the last time that the two of them got into an altercation, who was it that went up to? It was Clarissa going up to Alicia yet again. And that time, Alicia said, she would put her hand out in her face and say, look, go away. Like, we're not even doing this. And I'm pretty sure that at that point as well, like Clarissa tried to slap her hand away or something, again, tried to get physical. This time she just happened to obviously connect somewhere where she wasn't supposed to. Either way, she just, like I said, she's finding herself in places she don't need to be because that's the only way she can keep herself relevant. And she's been doing this whole victory tour over on X for the last day about the slap, and then all of a sudden now when Alicia's now talking about and you've been banned and whatever, now you want to come out with the big, oh, it wasn't me, I was just defending myself narrative. Get out of here, man. Pure victim mentality she go on with. If you want to talk about the whole light skin dark skin thing, that's a whole separate issue, but she's the one that perpetuates that. She's got an issue with light skinned women. I don't know what her issue is. Well, I probably do, but I don't want to say because I don't know for sure. So I'm not trying to just put it out there. But she's the one that causes all of that drama. She's the one that's just on jokes and just on foolishness all the time. Her and her team, no decorum. You would have thought she's in her 30s now that she would have been able to finally do something about that. Go therapy. Go get some help because you clearly need help. And at this point in time, it's long for someone to think that they're going to defend her after she's in the wrong. Like, what did they say? What is it we used to say at school? And what the parents used to say to you back in the day? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, right? Well, guess what? Words is one thing. When you start getting aggressive, you take it to a whole nother realm. And at that point in time, Alicia said, you know what? I'm at an event. I'm at an event I'm supposed to be at. I'm about to make bags. I ain't about to be out here acting all ratchet like you, like fighting in dresses and heels. Like, that's not my lane. That's not what I'm doing. I'm 31 years old. I'm going to handle this a different way. I'm going to make some money out of it. And that's what she's doing. I got no problem with that. Clarissa clearly at fault. And everything else is, it's sufferation at this point. That's what I'm getting with it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this. I know that you've got your gripe with Clarissa Shields in general.
It's not even my gripe with Clarissa. It's this. It's that you're telling me if Alicia put her hands on her first or pushed her or something, cool, that's fine. Get yours back. She didn't touch her. She said some words, but guess what? Clarissa was saying words back. So that's an even exchange. That's an even keep my relationship out your effing mouth. Who are you, B? All of that stuff. They're going back and forth. That's even. You've taken it somewhere else.
Yeah, well, listen, it gets like that. You can't listen when people say
it doesn't have to get like that, Danny. Like, it's called decorum. It's called being a grown up.
No, it is called. You can do the grown-up thing, but Alicia, I think she's quite selective because if it's someone else, it's all, oh yeah, I'm just respect, and she's quite rugged.
Selective how? Be specific. Selective how?
Because when it comes to the Michaela Mayers and things like that, she gets really rugged and about it. Even when she's talking online to Clarissa, she talks like she's bad.
But how is that selective? But she's got the same energy for everybody.
Yeah, okay. So she does that, but then now when she's got into a bad gal situation and she's got clapped, rather than she's talking about taking it on the chin, she's talking about she wants to press charges and do legal. That's
Why would you take it on the chin when you can make some money out of it?
no, that's not the Warriors code. You're a fighter. Now
But that's
moving
not a
like
fighting
civilian.
environment. That's civilian territory. That's not fighting territory.
Listen,
Anywhere within a ring or within a gym setting, what you're saying makes sense. Not out on the street. You're trying to tell me you, as a licensed security guard, yeah, you with a boxer's license or a former license, all that good stuff. You're trying to tell me that if a man comes up to you on the street and claps you over and knocks you down, knocks you out, or whatever, and there's witnesses, everyone, you're gonna say, oh well, we just got the drop on me. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm tough. It happens sometimes. No, you're gonna be like, you know what? At this particular time, since I can't actually do anything to you, I've already taken the lick. People have already seen it. Let me go get this man arrested, or let me go and press charges and get some money, or put him in jail or something, because I'm not on the streets. I'm a civilian. I may have a license for certain things, but I'm a civilian at this point in time. I got hit, and now I'm about to make bank off of it.
No,
That's what I would do.
Not when I'm in an argument talking rough and tough to a person, and I get hit, and then now you want to press charges. Now you're a punk.
Okay, but if you all right, so let me ask you this: so you get hit, because this is what we're gonna say, right? So you get hit, and you have no way to do anything back at that moment. There's enough people around you. What are you gonna do?
After I've been talking wicked.
You've been talking wicked, claps you, and everyone is in the way. You can't get to him. You can't get your lick back. What are you doing?
I'm gonna have to wait in the car park. I'm gonna find out where he works or something. I've got to find something. I've got to get something. I've got to get him another day. I'm getting another day. I'm getting another day. I'm getting intel with my. I'm gonna use my resources, and I'm gonna get him another day. If I can't get him that day, I've got to get him another day. If I'm a fighter and that happens to me, I'm coming to your gym. But you cannot be talking that tough for that long. This has been a back and forth thing for a couple of years now. So it's got to a situation now. You said about I'll beat your ass right now. You've got clap, and now you're talking about you want to press charges.
Yeah, but as I just said, Danny, she said she was referring in a ring sense.
We don't know that.
If you listen to the audio, she's specifically talking about that. After she's saying, I'll say what I want to say, and then Clarissa's like, no, you shut your mouth and da 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 da. And she's like, no, if we could do this, like we can do it. Like I've called you.
Right
She said,
now.
I called you out. She said, I called you out. Like I'll whoop that ass right now. But she's not talking about literally on the spot. She's talking about in a ring setting, which is what she's been talking about the last several years.
The way she said it, it sounded like the Daniel Dubois version. Like, let's go, we could do it right now. Because obviously, normally when people say that, normally in those situations, no one does anything normally. So what it was, she wasn't expecting it to go there. People even probably in attendance didn't expect Clarissa to, actually throw a slap out there. But it ended up happening. So now you've just got to deal with it. You've got to try and get your lick back.
And
somehow.
to tell me, and why is it we see that whole clip there, right? We see the other clip. How is it that Clarissa waits for security to get in the middle before she decides to throw the slap? There was a big open space for the two of them before anyone got anywhere involved, where she's doing all the pointing and da. She waits for 2 or 3 people to get in the middle. And then as Alicia's turning around is when she wants to start get handsy. Like where did they do that?
Boy,
what part of the Warriors code is that?
I don't know. But maybe she said the final straw, and it was just at that moment she's lashed out.
What, when there's people to separate the two of them to be able to drag her away at that point?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, no, I can't condone it, Danny. Like if she actually put hands on her at that first point, I would have said, "All right, do you know what? Charge it." But you wait for people to get in the middle. You know that the cameras are on because you know the cameras are around. You've
Oh
seen
yeah.
them already. All of a sudden now, as soon as she goes to turn away to leave, like she done the last time you two were in a situation together, oh, that's where you want to throw out a hand and get handsy to say that, oh yeah, well, I caught her, and then be laughing with girl like Shiesty online and say, oh, my shots are pretty accurate, like like all of that stuff. No. Like you went there
Is
for
that what you're
clout.
saying?
She went, yes, that's what she said to Shiesty. She went there for clout. She got the clout she wanted. Now she ain't got access to any of them events again. Let's see what her next quote unquote show does numbers wise. Now that she ain't got them lot there to try and fight.
But it's a bit hypocritical of MVP because there was two other people fighting at that event outside the ring who
Who?
I don't know the names of the people, but they were fighters and they were fighting at the event at this same event, and no one's talking about getting bans because there's people even protested online saying, "Why is it those guys? There's no bans when there's the other fights outside of the event."
Are you talking? Is it one of them like a Dagestanian brother? And was he like? Didn't he try to chase someone into the locker room or something? Is that the one you're referring to?
I haven't seen the fight. I've just heard there was fights and there was a fight
Okay, but here's the
outside.
thing. Here's the thing. What I'll say though, we don't know that they haven't banned those people. They just haven't. Maybe they just haven't come out with it because remember that's MMA stuff. That might be on an all different side of Twitter that we're not really
Privy to.
seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might all have been banned as well, or maybe in that particular situation, the two of them are like maybe they had an actual fight. So if they've had a fight, maybe they've both all of a sudden said, okay, well, that's separate because you two have actually scrapped. This is one where one person has attacked someone else when their back's turned more than anything else. Yes, it was a minor, like it's a small slap. Like we're not gonna act like she clapped her over like when her back was turned, or whatever. It was a slap, but it was clearly a slap that was not anticipated at such a big event at such a big stage. So that's obviously why they've then gone to it, and then Alicia's probably like, well, yo, like I'm supposed to be a part of your camp, and you're allowing people like this to come and do X, Y, Z, like however that may have played out. I don't know about the other thing. I didn't see it. I can only comment on obviously what I've seen. But in this particular thing, even if we want to go back and talk all of the previous history or whatever, like they've both said what they've said to each other online. They've both seen each other since then. They saw each other on the plane. I remember that one there when Clarissa was like, "Oh, she didn't do anything on the plane, didn't do anything at that other event." When there was no one in between. This time, all of a sudden, no, there's people in between, and now that's where you decide to take your opportunity. Maybe because you're that head over heels with Papoose, who personally I don't even think likes her as much as she thinks he does personally. But that's a whole separate issue. I'm not even going to get into that. Like, I wish them well, but she tried to transition over to this love and hip hop world, and it's a world that she weren't ready for. And now all of a sudden, she's crashing out minute after minute on every single person, trying to do up defense league for a man that ain't even got clout like that. Not even in New York. Most clout man had was a diss tune to 50 Cent, like 6 minutes worth of track that people started to get bored of after the first minute and a half.
No. Let's not act like Papoose when he was doing the alphabet slaying when he did it forward and back.
Papoose ain't been hot since 2006, and I know I was a big Papoose fan back in the day. 2003 to 2005 was his best work. After that, I ain't gonna lie, he fell off. And that whole Nasarima Dream album getting pushed back for 15 years didn't help man at all.
Okay, but
And he's never had a great flow. That's one thing. He used to have the sick punchlines, but the flow was person that was doing was on flows. I paid attention to that stuff. I'm not hating saying that. I'm saying I was a big Papoose fan. I had almost all of his mixtapes from 2003 to like 2006. But after that, the flow changed, the punchlines changed, the assimiles changed, the flow got weaker, the beat selection was even worse, and
yeah,
he's never had a hot track. He had hot freestyles, but none of them ever charted.
Okay,
But that's who you're about to lose your career over.
yeah, but okay. So what is it about? Just getting with what you think she only just got with him because of who he was back in the day, or do you
No,
think
because he's a hip hop star. That's literally all we're talking about. Is like he's a guy from the hip hop scene, and like he was, one of these New York rappers that had a bit of a name. She just gassed to be in that scene. Remember, he was on Love and Hip Hop with Remy Ma. She wants to be a part of that crowd. You can clearly see that that's the crowd that she associates with. So that was the first opportunity.
So what crowd do you think Alicia wants to be part of? Because she's dating an NFL player right now. She's had a history of seeing boxers and stuff like that.
Yeah, boxers, NFL players, sportsmen, sports crowd. That makes sense. If she's dating an NFL player, guess what? That's a lot of bank. Do you think Papoose has got the same kind of money as my guy? Do you think they're
No,
in the
no, no,
same
no,
in the same tax bracket?
no.
No, exactly. So that's a whole different thing. Alicia's already planning her exit strategy from boxing. We already know that she don't want to fight Caroline Dubois. And again, I can quite easily criticize Alicia for a whole bunch of other stuff, but in this particular situation, which is what I'm doing, this is a whole different one. She's even talking about possibly trying to do the MMA thing, maybe on the other MVP cars moving out, because she said, "Oh, get me in the ring," or whatever. Like, cool. I can respect that. She's planning her exit strategy, and her exit strategy is looking a lot more secure at the moment than Clarissa Shields is. If we're going to keep it to that level, like Clarissa's out here doing crash outs for a rapper that's never been hot, like legit. As nice as the Rams have been back in the day, he's never been hot, and that's a fact.
He has been hot. He was.
Hot where? He ain't never had a hot 100 hit.
No, but he was hot.
Actually, no, that's a lie. He had one which didn't even chart. It has to chart in the top 40 to be counted as a hot 100. I think it was number 42.
Okay, so he just missed out. But he was hot on the streets, on the underground scene, and the hit on the streets in the mixtape scene. He was hot. It was a time.
Danny, you was hot in Blueborough back in school. Did that mean anything now?
Oh, come on.
Yes or no?
Yeah,
yes or no?
All right.
Right. Okay. Argument done. Argument done.
Yeah, but
Argument done.
Papoose was hot in the streets even over here, so that's transcended just the 5 boroughs of New York.
He was hot over here for when? Has he ever done a show over here?
I don't think he has.
How you could have been hot in the UK and never done a show over here?
But we was buying the mixtapes, man. We was buying Smack DVDs.
I just told you I've got every single one of his mixtapes, but guess what? Man never did a show over here, so how is he hot?
Yeah, but maybe he couldn't get a visa. But we bought the Smack DVDs. We bought the
couldn't get a visa. The guy ain't got a criminal record, Danny. How could he not get a visa if he ain't got a criminal record?
I don't know. But he was at one upon a time. He was popping.
Yeah, back in 2003 to 2005.
Yeah, I'm not disputing the timeline. That's right. But let's not act like he weren't popping, because he was. That's what I'm saying. Yes, it was a very long time ago, but he
wasn't popping where it counted, because none of it was in sales. He had a little street cred. Cool. What else? None of that translated to anything.
I know, but he had street cred.
But even if we're saying back in the day, 2003. In 2003, Clarissa would have been what, 6? She weren't even grown to understand who Papoose was back then.
How old is he now?
He's about 48.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's a good 16, 17 years older than her. Yeah. Right, so carry on with
that's another discussion for another day.
Right, okay, that's what I thought. Right, okay, so we officially, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Very quickly, before we get out of here, because we weren't supposed to be on here this long, this took a very interesting turn. We apparently have got the announcement of Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn for the 12th of September. It's a ring card, and I believe it will be taking place on Netflix and not the Zone. So anyone who's got the ultimate package, you might want to start calling the customer services. Yeah, I'm just saying. Just saying. But Danny, what's your thoughts on the fight if it is in fact confirmed? I did see a poster which looked legit, but you never know if it's real or not when it comes to Ryan until it's actually happening.
Yeah, I don't know if the poster's like the official poster, but what I can say is that Ryan Garcia was on Jimmy Kimmel, and he announced it. I think he done it like in a leak thing. I don't think he was actually meant to say it, but he said it anyways, and that's why now people have drawn up the posters. So it is official through my source as well, very credible source, part of Team Garcia. I can confirm that is the fight that is happening. So yeah, he's got a world title fight, Conor Benn, and yeah, once again, that's another ultimate tier fight down the drain. So yeah.
Yeah, and just a quick one to Ahijah Selassie Shah. It's the same day as Canelo. Yeah, but Canelo's is going to be in Riyadh, so they're not going to be clashing. There'll be different time zones. So just so you're aware of that. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the we'll talk about the fight itself closer to the time once it's signed, and we go into some breakdowns and all of that. But yeah, look. Ladies and gentlemen, again, very, it was a later episode. We got to the hour, and it definitely wasn't boxing, but I had fun. I hope you guys did as well. We will catch you next week, where there will be definitely a lot more to talk about. Danny, do you want to sign them out real quick?
Yep, and there you have it, guys. It's another episode of the B&D Podcast. It's Danny Glover. It's Base the Kid. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know what it is.
Chat stats, pop jabs, reach, who's king? Southpaw switch, lead hook, chin ping. Scorecards, rematch, who got rubbed fast? All on the B&D Podcast. It's the B&D Podcast. Big clash, rounds, belts, big gas, lock it. The B&D Podcast. It's the B&D Podcast. Big clash, rounds, belts, big gas, lock it. The B&D Podcast.